Hi, my name is David Zuniga, and this is my graphics project one. So first, let's go over some basic points. This here is my object file. It contains every object that's rendered in my scene, and in this side I have my lights file, which renders all of the lights in the scene. Currently, I'm rendering 9 lights and 27 objects, as we can see here. The objects I'm rendering are a low poly tree right here, a low poly mountain that's right here, actually two of them, and about 19 trees. So then there are street lamps, 6 of them, which each hold a different light. And then I have a cube for the floor, and finally my car model, which we're going to see in a moment in action, and my 9 lights, which I will present one by one in my scene. So just to cover the points here, this is at least 10 models of 4 types. I actually have more than 4 types, which is the trees, the lamps, the mountain, the cubes, the car, and that's basically what I'm rendering. As I've already shown, the files are JSONs that are readable and that are external from the from the executable code. So we're going to now check out the rest of the items on the list. So first of all, I will run the project. So here we are. The first thing to note is that the trees on both sides of the road are of different sizes and colors, although the model is the same. Then each of the street lights has a light of its own, which we can see each one if I select them. So there we go. That's light 1, light 2, light 3, light 4, light 5, light 6. So after that, we can take a higher perspective of my scene so that we can appreciate. Then here, these are the mountains that I'm rendering on the background of my scene. The purple one is the car. Then the street lights are arranged in order, and just to show that everything is editable, I'm going to move one of the lamp lights, and I'm also going to move the car so that we can see that everything can be moved without exiting the code, and also can be saved to the scene, which I will do later on. So the same for the lights. Any light that I choose to can be moved around. Also on the y-axis and on the z-axis. So I'm just going to return it to its original place. Um, so that's it for the light part. So now we are going to see the lights, the other 2 lights inside my project, which are the stop lights of the car. So here they can be turned on and off with the Control P and Control O. So there and there. Also, with the Control W, we can toggle the wireframe of the scene so that we can see every object that's been rendered. Actually, the mountains are 2 different the same mesh, but in two different instances. One is the mirror of the other. They were placed and rotated inside the scene, and then the scene was saved, so that even here I can show them moving around. So that's the next thing showing. So here's mountain 1, and we can rotate it on the x-axis, on the y-axis, and on the z-axis. So that's what I did to place them where they are currently. Also, one last light was placed there so that we could see the mountains in a little bit more detail. But that's how they actually look. They are quite large in size. And finally, the camera is completely controllable. It can turn 360 degrees on the y-axis, and it basically can zoom in and out of every scene, and it can also move on the x-axis. Depending on where we're looking from, it's going to go from left to right or from right to left. So far we've covered the 8 lights, which 2 of them are controlled, which are the stop lights, solid and wireframe shading. I have also shown that. The scene, I think it makes sense. I hope it does. So camera is interactable control level, and here in my files you can see that every object has a scale, a rotation, and a position, which can be controlled inside the program, the running program. And all of these changes can be saved. Just to make an example of this, I'm going to move one of my objects, and I'll save the scene so that we can see this. So I'm going to move the first tree. I'm going to make it, put it in a very random place just to see it work. So here I'm going to use Control S to save the scene. So now I'm going to close it. The scene has been modified, and then when we run the program again, the scene has been modified to what we're currently seeing.